need to see people's phones. We live in the 21st century. That's how conspiracies are conducted. You have any clue what's on my phones that they took?
Everybody knows a message with Kerry Reed on Signal, right? And ours auto delete after 4 hours, right? She set it up that way. I didn't set it up.
You prove a conspiracy. You need to see people's phones. We live in the 21st century.
Do you feel like you're an advocate for the defense?
No, sir. That is my best guess. I don't recall from a year ago.
When I asked you to guess, I'm asking for your testimony. Did you ever delete texts?
From last year?
Yes.
Yes.
That's how conspiracies.
Do you feel like you're an advocate for the defense?
No, sir. That is my best guess. I don't recall from a year ago.
When I asked you to guess, I'm asking for your testimony. Did you ever delete texts?
From last.
We are trying to affect the jury pool. We are. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm.
Everybody knows a message with Kerry Reed on Signal, right? And ours auto delete after 4 hours, right? She set it up that way. I didn't set it up.
Well, hello, guys.
Hey.
I'm Tuesday, and with me right now is we got Jenny Jams.
Hey,
We got
guys.
Julie, and we've got our spicy Lydia. I love that background, Lydia.
Thank you.
I was, while the intro was going, I had like a coughing attack.
Uh-oh.
So I'm like still.
Oh, no.
Anyways, I am so happy to have everyone here tonight. We have a special guest, and she is going to be sharing a screen with our usual Kerry. So we're going to have two Kerrys in one screen, and I'm going to bring them on in here.
Hi, guys.
There we go. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Kerry.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Kerry's Kerry.
I am so thankful that you're here and that we finally get to see your face in sort of real life and officially meet you. And I really look forward to just kind of chatting and learning more about John and just the traumatic events that you really endured and the stuff that's been going on ever since. So I'm so grateful. I know everyone that's watching is grateful to hear from you. We haven't been able to hear from many people who are part of this case. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And I love that.
All you guys have done for us. I appreciate each one of you.
Oh, thank you. I love that we have two Kerrys in one square. This is
in
This
one
is-
box.
And they look like sisters, don't they?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
I can see us, and we do look alike. Which is
Uh-oh, don't start that rumor.
But yeah.
Oh,
that's true. Another Canton rumor.
Yep.
That was really Carrie, the other Carrie,
wasn't that night.
wearing Kerry Roberts sweatshirt.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Right? I know. I just read
You never know.
a crazy tweet the other day. I mean, I read crazy tweets all the time, but there was like a new, oh gosh, I don't even know. It was like the craziest new conspiracy. I'm like,
There never seems to
No.
be an end to the supply.
There's
no.
a crazier one. I mean,
That's
yeah,
true.
it was crazy.
You really can't get much crazier than the
Yeah.
real conspiracy the fake conspiracy. You really can't.
Yeah.
no,
No,
yeah,
you can't. Yeah,
Yeah, it takes quite the imagination.
it does.
Well,
it does.
you got a bunch of players, and you got someone to write a Hollywood movie. I mean,
Sure. Or a
It's-
Lifetime movie, whatever.
With a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
it's
Lots
attention
and lots of
grabbing,
plot
but
holes.
it's not reality.
You wouldn't really
Sure.
believe it if it was a movie, right? Like there would be so many ridiculous things you wouldn't believe it.
Life
People
is
would be
not
stunned.
complicated.
Right.
Truth is not
Right.
that complicated unless
Right.
you're watching The Sopranos. Like,
Right.
It's,
Right.
Sure.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
why
no, I would turn
sensationalism
off a
sells.
movie. Yeah, I would turn off a movie that had the
Right,
for sure.
right.
You
It
would.
be so silly.
ridiculous
Oh.
plot lines.
Karen's conspiracy theory? Like,
Yes.
no. Like,
Yeah.
no. It's,
Yeah.
it's not logical. It's no. There's
No.
so many holes. Nope.
Yeah. That's not even like, you know how Agatha Christie is kind of campy sometimes, or like some
Sure.
little campy elements. This is like not even approaching campy. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's nothing smart about it, right?
No.
Like you're trying to capture people that are very gullible and impressionable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
it works. They've shown
Yeah.
it works.
Yep.
Well, it's just like the people that have, who are big Karen fanatics. They're like, oh, talking about our YouTube live in the first couple episodes we've done. They're like, oh, it's so boring. And I think it goes in to say the type of people that are seeking out that kind of sensationalized
Fantasy.
dramatics over a story, in that just talking about facts, it probably is really boring.
Right.
So I know they're trying to insult, and that's okay, because I would rather be boring
Yeah.
and be straightforward than trying to entertain people with someone's biggest tragedy. So,
Right.
100%.
yeah.
So are you saying I should return my top hat?
You know what? Funniest story about a top hat, real quickly. My son, I gave him money to go get my husband a Christmas gift one year. It was like a couple years ago. He was really young. And he came back with a top hat. And
No.
I was like,
Well, that's hilarious.
it was so funny. And he wore it the whole Christmas morning.
bet.
my
I love
husband.
that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. I love
It
it.
was like Ebenezer Scrooge.
That is funny.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our Ginny Jans and our Lydia in the backstage area of our video, just so we're not inundating Kerry with too many questions at one time and too much noise. So
Yep, and we
me
will be
Julie-
helping mods, so watch out.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
The hammer's coming
Okay.
down. Don't even think about it, because
Yeah.
we're there.
Me and Julie won the lottery.
Oh,
So
yay.
yay. So all right. So I'm gonna put you guys back, and then we'll probably bring you guys forward right at the end here.
Okay.
So is this
Hi,
how we want the
guys.
boxes here? Let me see if I can get them. Or maybe
In a little
Lydia
bit.
can mess with it.
A different position.
Yeah, Lydia's in the backstage, so maybe she can mess with it. All right, so Kerry, I'm gonna start with just asking you a little bit about John in general. And because you guys were extremely close, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So how did you actually meet John, and what was he like? What was he like as a person?
We met in probably middle school. We both played soccer. So at East Middle School on Saturdays, everybody went up there for soccer games. Everybody hung out. He was a year older than me. So at some point, probably in 7th and 8th grade, we met, but I didn't actually meet him probably till high school. I was a year below him. I graduated with over 300 people. So we had a really big high school. Yeah, it was a really big high school. But John, we were in different groups. He was a year older, so we weren't super close through high school. I did go to his junior prom with him.
Oh yeah, we have that picture, right? Tuesday.
Oh yeah, let me.
Yeah,
That's a doozy.
We have that lovely picture.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is adorable.
It's lovely. I had a perm.
You did?
I did. I think I had bangs too.
Let me see. Oh, here it is.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh, you guys are babies.
Aww.
It's so
Look how
cute.
cute.
Literal
I love it.
babies.
I love it.
Aww.
Tan nylons and white arms. It was really pretty.
Oh, that is so cute.
Oh, that was the nylon era.
It was. That was super fun.
So did he ask you to prom?
What year did you graduate, Kerry?
I graduated in 95. He was a year older than me. And I think that we got paired up for prom. A friend of mine I was on soccer with was going with one of his friends. I think that was the story. I had kind of forgot about it until Mrs. O'Keefe had showed me pictures and was like, here you go. And it was pictures in front of a limo. And I'm like, oh God.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, at John's sister's wake, she said, oh, you went to the prom with Johnny. And I was like, I did.
Serious? That's so funny.
I did. And she was like, yes, you did. I have the pictures. I was like, right. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
No, we went as friends. I don't know.
It was the cutest picture.
It was a prom. It was fun. I think it was a long time ago. I don't really remember. But no, we went as friends. I'm pretty sure my friend from soccer said, like, I'm going with his friend. He needs a date. Do you want to go with him?
So it was his prom.
It was his prom.
It was his prom. Okay.
We had a running joke though. Once he moved into Canton and we became close, I said, I went to your prom. You didn't go to mine. And he was like, why do you keep saying it? And he would get pissed, but I was like, it's actually funny. He didn't think it was funny, but I did. So yeah, there's a picture. Beautiful.
So sweet.
Tree next to us.
So then so you guys kind of knew each other, is what you're saying, maybe in middle school. You were friends-ish.
In high school.
Yeah.
And then after, I would see him like at bars here and there. But it wasn't until his sister got sick. And I had just moved into the neighborhood. I think she got sick in June or July. We had moved in January. And then my 2 children went to an in-home daycare that his niece and nephew went to. His niece was already in preschool at the time, but his nephew was at the in-home daycare. It's one of my closest friends now who runs the daycare. And the kids, there was one picture that the daycare provider took, and she put it on Facebook, and John O'Keefe and Paul O'Keefe were commenting on it. And I was like, why are they commenting on my child's picture? Like, this is weird. I didn't realize his nephew was in the picture. And then when I went to pick up one day, I saw Kristen, and she was like, wait, what are you, John's sister, picking up from the same in-home daycare. And she was like, wait, what are you doing here? And I was like, wait, what are you doing here?
So you did, that's how.
Yeah, that's how Facebook and there is how I realized, like, oh, wait. And then his nephew and my son met. Patrick is I think Patrick is 6 months younger than my daughter and 6 months older than my son. But he has been best friends with my son since they were at the in-home daycare. And so when Kristen got sick, we had just moved in. I think we moved in January and she got sick in June or July. So I had reached out to him and said, like, hey, listen, we're in the neighborhood if you need any help. And then she passed. And then 2 months later, her husband passed. And that's when John was kind of like, well, I'm sorry, I back up. When Kristen passed, John had said, I may move into the neighborhood to help Steve with the kids, Kristen's husband. But I don't know how that's going to play out yet. And then when Steve passed, John ended up moving into the neighborhood. And then my husband and I, we were between Mrs. O'Keefe, Mr. O'Keefe, the McCabe's, Kaylee's other friends, parents. There was a ton of us that were all jumping in to just help. Like he was a bachelor. He didn't have kids. He was brand new at all of it, but he caught on pretty quick.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing how he stepped in as a single guy.
I think we have the picture too. I think of wasn't it like the first picture that you took of him with the kids?
When
yeah, the picture that I gave you.
So my friend, I don't want to say anyone's name.
Yeah.
One of my closest friends from high school was starting to get into photography a little. She now has 3 gorgeous daughters. At the time, she only had 2. And she was kind of playing around with pictures. Another friend of ours is a phenomenal photographer. So I think she was trying to like get a little bit of herself into photography. And that's the father-daughter dance.
Yeah, not that one, but that's the one too.
And so I said,
"Oh, this isn't."
Look at that.
No, that's a father-daughter dance. She said, but it's still adorable.
My Lexi and my husband and my Lucy, who's passed,
adorable.
who's the best dog ever.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
And then the other one was the one that.
The other one is a picture of just John and the kids. And I had said to him, like, you know what?
Oh, gotcha.
You guys have a picture of the 3 of you together. Like my friend who also went to high school with him. I said, she's sort of trying to take up photography a little bit. Like, let's go do pictures. And she did my kids' pictures, and then she did the 3 of them. And I said, well, at least now you have like a family portrait of the 3 of you together, kind of thing. And it was
sweet.
like Patrick kept doing this thing where he would curl his lip, and he was like, it was. And my poor friend was like, he won't smile, and I was like, well, but they got some really good pictures.
That one's adorable. I think we have that one.
I know I have it, and it's in a weird. It's not as a. Not filed right. Hold on. Oh, for the love. You know what? I'm going to send it to Lydia or Ginny. They can. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Lydia's going to fix it. Our fixer. Oh, now it's a PNG. Okay. Okay. All right. So all right. And then I had one more picture to add. I have that one on here. Let's see. And this is one we've seen so many times. It's been on. This is, I love this photo. The authentic joy.
Yeah, I love it.
The best part is, so my husband drinks White Claw, and they had run out of whatever they were drinking, so they started digging into his White Claw. So there's another picture of this where Paul's got a White Claw and John has a White Claw, and I literally look like a midget. But at the end of that night, because I can't reach, in my kitchen, there's a door, like a large doorway that goes into the living room. They lined up all the White Claw cans on top of it, knowing that I was going to come down the next morning and clean, and I couldn't reach them. anytime John would come over, he would leave. When I look out my kitchen window, we have a covered porch, and there's like little like cubby hole kind of things. And anytime we would have people over in the morning, I would get up and like do dishes or clean up or whatever. And I would look out and there would be literally Bud Light limes, like just shoved just where I could see them, but couldn't reach them. They loved it. They thought it was great. I'm like, yeah. I have a picture. I think I showed you the picture of all the White Claws lined up. I'm like, I swear to God, I have a step stool at my house because I'm short. It's fine.
That's so funny. That's adorable. It's like a big
That's
brother.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I've seen that video too of him. I think it was a TikTok video that Kaylee had where he was pretending to be her as a teenager. It just like captured this amazing personality, hilarious and just lighthearted, and he's just so relatable, you know, like he seems like a very relatable guy. And which just makes this even harder to know, you know, all the things that happened. But I'm grateful for that video and these pictures so we can at least get to know him a little bit.
He's been so forgotten, so it's always good to do to do something like this. It hasn't been done enough, you know.
I've read articles where they call him Tom. Poor Tom O'Keefe, the boss. I'm like, that's not even his middle name. Never mind his first name. Like do your research before you write something. These are like articles, like not just like Twitter or whatever, but like nobody remembers him. Nobody remembers his name. And I'm not gonna lie, like with all of this circus and craziness, like I have a hard time remembering like his voice. I have a hard time remembering like different. It's, you know, it's all, we haven't had closure. So it's been a circus.
It's been a circus.
Yeah, it's so, just everything is clouded his memory for a lot of people, which is unfortunate.
I'm so sorry, Kerry, because especially those things like someone's voice and the way they were, those are the things that like keep you going. And so to have all of this cloud, just being able to hear him say, "Hi, Kerry." I mean, that's tough. And I'm so sorry that you've been through that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry for all of us, because I feel like all of us that loved him and were close to him, we're all in the same boat. It's like this circus has taken over and nobody remembers him. They only remember one name and it's not his. And he's the one that ultimately paid the price.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen, I mean, I haven't seen what has happened here ever before, but I have seen to this extent, but I have seen that happen in other cases where it's, you know, the name of the person responsible or the defendant is the headline everywhere you go. And, you know, the victims are, you know, not as easily named by people who are consuming the news. And I've been covering actually one of the cases that Alan Jackson is also a part of, the Pepperdine case that's out in Malibu, California, and 4 girls lost their lives. And although I feel like, you know, in every headline, you can't write all 4 names all the time, you know, versus the defendant's name is obviously probably a little bit easier and quicker in the headline. But the names are, I guarantee you, the names of these 4 girls that died are not as well known as the defendants.
I couldn't tell you any of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you one of their names.
Yep.
Like the Koberger case, I couldn't tell you one of their names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because those are the people that lost their lives.
Unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
I think in this case too, it was a lot of it was done by that was the design, right? To forget his name.
Yeah. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the game. I feel like it was more of making sure that a different victim became the bigger victim of the story. and that would be Karen, right? Karen's entire
There's only one
defense
victim,
has
John.
right, exactly. But Karen's defense did everything they could to make her the victim in the headlines.
Right. And
So
to forget John. I feel like they did
Mhm.
that on purpose. Like they,
Oh,
I
you
mean, I've
do.
never,
Yeah.
I've never heard them mention his name ever. I can't even remember them mentioning his name.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, remember the last civil case hearing where Alan Jackson said there's
There it
only
is.
one
There it is.
defendant, and there's, I mean, oh, look at that.
I think we did that in
Adorable.
Easton. It was there was a couple of them, but that was a good one. And
Oh,
John
that
was like,
house in
"Why
Easton.
am I doing this? Do I have to get in the
That's a great
picture?" And I
one.
was like, "Yes, you have to get in the picture. This is a family picture. Get in the picture." And he was like, "But I don't." I'm like, "Get in the picture." So he got
And
in
he
the
got in the
picture.
picture.
And here's
He's
the
so
picture.
handsome. Look how handsome he
Yes,
is.
I
He's
know.
like
Very much. Yeah, he's a very handsome guy.
He is. He
the whole
looks
family, all the
exactly
pictures of it, all
like
the
his
family.
mother. If you watch Peg walk, if you like, they're the same person.
Really?
She's just
Aw.
misses it. They're the. Ask anybody. If you watch them, if two of them put a bag on their head and walk down the hallway, they're the exact. No, they're the exact same. They're the exact same.
Aw.
They have this little walk that I
Aw,
can't
that's
even
so
do it. But no, they're this. They walk. They're the same person.
Oh, I love that. Although I don't want to remove it.
So
I'm
I
gonna
do
do it
think
so you can
John
see.
favors his mom, and the other two favored their dad.
Oh, really?
I do
Look
see
like
that
him?
in
Do you-
John.
Do you think that?
Oh, for John's siblings?
Yeah, she thinks they look like Mr. O'Keefe.
Well, Patrick looks like.
Yeah, so I
Patrick
think
looks like
John
Mr.
favored his
O'Keefe.
mom. I think Paul
Yeah.
definitely favored.
Oh, Paul is the spitting image of
Yeah.
Mr. O'Keefe. Patrick was also, but Patrick's little hairline in the back is the same as John's. It's
that's
actually
so
fun. They have the
cute.
exact same hairline. It's
Aw.
funny.
It's adorable.
That is cute.
Kaylee resembles her mom a lot. And they both resemble their dad too, on the Furbush side. But Patrick, when he was little, was this spitting image of Papa. They would go to Dunkin' Donuts together, and people were like, "Oh my God, Patrick looks exactly like Papa." And we know. Everyone says that we know. Dunkin' Donuts was their thing, and they would pick up my
cute.
son, and they would go
Aw.
and butcher whoever was in Dunkin' Donuts. The two of them would run around with their donuts and their munchkins, and yeah, we have a lot of memories from when they were little, and now, still.
Different memories.
Well, now Papa takes them like somewhere else before they're going to baseball or whatever, and they're in their teens, which is crazy to me.
So are you close with the O'Keefe family still to this day?
Oh, yeah, I talk to Peg several times a day sometimes. Papa, I talk to him all the time. Patrick is always with my son. They went on an excursion the other day and to get Cane's chicken, and well, I have a hard time calling him Pat, but all the kids call him Pat now. I can't do it. He's Patrick. So Ryan will say like, "Pat's coming over." I'm like, "Oh, can we just say Patrick?" He's like, "No, Mom, he's Pat." I'm like, "Okay."
You guys had like you and Jen had more when you were helping out. Kind of, it sounds weird, but like Kaylee was Jen's, right? Because of the girls.
We were two parallel worlds.
Right.
She was always with Kaylee because
Yeah.
her daughter Olivia was close with Kaylee.
Yes.
And I
you
always
were
had Patrick, who was always close with Ryan.
Right.
Patrick ate 3 things when he was little. He had French toast sticks, he had pizza from Angelina's in Quincy, and he had grilled cheese. And that was it.
Aw,
We didn't
that
go-
sounds like my son for sure.
We didn't go any further than that. I would take him to cookouts at my mother's, and my mother's like, "I'm gonna go in and make him a grilled cheese." I'm like,
So like he was
Yeah.
yours.
He's
and, like,
expanded
Jen-
a little
yeah,
bit though.
yeah,
He eats
yeah.
like burgers and steak now. He's still very reserved, but he's eating a little bit more. Ryan went to Patrick's grandfather's house down the Cape, and they went to They played golf for the day and they went to the country club that he belongs to. And I said to Ryan, like, what did you guys eat? What'd you have for dinner? This was like 3 or 4 years ago. And he was like, filet. I'm like, you what? And he's like, oh, no, they told Pat and I both got filet. And I said, okay, buddy, like, you shouldn't be ordering filet. And he was like, no. And then, Patrick's grandfather didn't finish his, so I ate the rest of it. But at least Patrick's expanded his palate, so it's nice. But I was like, oh my God, no, you didn't. You ate Mr. Furbish. Okay, that's fine. But no, they're funny.
So how are they doing? How is Mrs. O'Keefe and Mrs.
I do not know a stronger woman or man in my entire life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, my mom is amazing. My mother is 75 years old. She does Venmo. She does this, but I don't know if my mother could handle like the sports apps and this and that and the busyness of
She
the
does
kids.
all that?
She does it all. I don't know how.
Wow.
Well, I do know how because we try to help her.
Right.
And there's if I come over and like pick up an Amazon package and bring it in the house, she's like, here you go. And there's a Dunkin' Donuts gift card because she's just so thankful for everybody that helps her. And you're like, no, Peg, like I just brought the Amazon package in because it was on the stairs. They're just so appreciative of everything. Like they're just so good, and they love my kids, and they love all of Kaylee and Patrick's friends and the kids, and she loves her granddaughters, Reese and Ryan. She absolutely loves them. She goes to games. She goes. I don't know football at all, and we signed the boys up for football. John would never allow it, and so Peg was like, "Let's just sign him up." And I was like, "Oh God." So we go to games and I'm like, what just happened? And she's like, oh, for Christ's sake. But I have no idea about football. And she's like, oh yeah, she's 4 brothers.
Yeah.
So on Sundays, it was either you went to football or you went to church. And so she, sitting next to me at football, she was like, oh God. And Papa would sit right there on like the track where they say like, no one on the track, like unless you're a coach, like everyone. Yes. No, he put his chair right there on the track. So I go down and sit with Papa, and I'm like, I think Nana's getting mad at me because I don't know what's going on with this football. My son has absolutely left football. Patrick's still doing it. And he's doing amazing. Oh, he loves it, and he's doing fantastic. He played on the I think the JV team this year. But yeah, Peg knows her stuff. Peg knows. She knows basketball. She knows baseball. Awesome. I say to everybody, I watch. I pay and I drive the kids. Beyond that, I don't know anything. But she knows it all. She coached Kristen, I think, in basketball. Coach.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Just so engaged in their life.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing okay. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
You could go in a corner and not speak to anybody. You could fall into a deep depression with losing 2 children and a son-in-law, and they've just had
they've just done it. Yeah,
I don't know how they've done it. I really don't. They're amazing.
Yeah,
really strong people.
Really. And Paul's amazing. Like their whole family. They have a huge. So there was a running joke when John was here that he would be like, "Oh, your cousin, oh, your cousin."
Oh, did they cut out?
everybody froze for me.
Yeah, me too.
I can see you.
I can see you too.
But no, they're stopped.
Yeah. So Peg has a ton of nieces and nephews, but when John was around, it was always a running joke. Like, I have a huge family, and he would be like, "Oh, let me guess, it was one of your cousins. It was one. Let me guess, you went to the pharmacy and you saw one of your cousins, or And now, after John passed, the amount of cousins that he has is nothing compared to what I have. And Patrick will even say jokes to me now. I'll say like, "Oh, guess who I saw?" He's like, "Let me guess, it was one of your cousins." I'm like, "All right, so listen, I understand you people have this running joke that I have a huge family, but you guys have way more than I do. They're everywhere, and they're amazing, and they rally around their aunt. They went to court. They're she has a huge family that loves her.
That's great.
Mr. O'Keefe and Paul, they're so lucky. They have a lot of support.
They are so lucky. They
They
are, because they need
They
it.
love their
That
Auntie
is-
Peg.
Yep.
I'm so happy to hear that. I want to say though, real quickly, and I'm going to pass the torch to Julie to ask some questions. Oh, but how big is Canton? The population?
I have no idea.
Because I think I looked it up, and it was
That's a good
actually
question.
Yeah, I have no
Absolutely
idea.
no
it
idea.
was actually really small when I looked it up. All right, I'm going to look this up, but I'm going to have Julie kind of.
I would bet it's like 30,000 people, right? Right? It's probably pretty small,
I think it's the same as Stoughton,
which is kind of
so
crazy.
30,000
It's not
or
big.
so. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're both
Like-
not big towns. Yeah.
Like 30,000.
I feel like
25,000,
So
it
Carrie, there
says.
have been some things. How many? How many is it?
So Canton.
What did you say?
So in 2024, the census was 25,000, a little over 25,000
Yeah.
people
Oh,
in
wow. It's
Canton.
pretty small.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty small. Yeah. Wow. And it's a middle class to upper middle class neighborhood, correct? So you've got
Yes.
people
Yeah,
that
I
have
would think
time
so.
on their
Yeah.
hands
I think so.
to make up rumors and fill their lives, right?
Right.
So
right.
Carrie, there have been some things that have leaked. There are texts of Karen's, and there is a text that upsets me that Karen sent to Aiden Carney. Do we have that text?
Yes. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it up. here.
Yeah. Karen, who is so upset by the names that Michael Proctor called her, who is not afraid to liberally use those same words on her own and accuse people of things that they did not do. So we'll wait for the text to come up, and then I really want to hear how you feel about this, because I think that so many people surrounded by John have been maligned by Karen and by these people. And so here, I'm not going to read the word, but Karen is trying to make it seem like, she's the only female in the world that Patrick can depend on, when we all know that's not true. And she says Kerry Roberts is an effing see you next Tuesday name, and always has been. So that's interesting.
That's interesting.
And yep. And so according to our friend Karen, you had Patrick kicked out of the pool. So, again, those of us that have seen these leaked texts, we understand what's going on. We understand that Karen is trying to paint this picture and paint anyone that loved John in a very negative way. I mean, she says in some of these texts, and it's not here, but in some of the other ones, that the only people that really loved John and the only people that really cared that he died were her and her family. So I just want to give you a chance to say what you need to say. I know if I was in your position, there's a lot of things that I would need to say to Karen about this little text that she sent. So what are your thoughts about this?
For starters, I have nothing to say to Karen. So I will explain the situation. The fact that she says that I'm a C word and always have been is interesting, because I really liked Karen. I got along with her well. We didn't spend a lot of time together. It was mostly baseball or pickups or drop-offs, but I liked her a lot. And we could have become friends if life wasn't so busy. I really liked her. I thought, you know what, John's dating somebody like this one, because he would date here and there, and we're like, all right, are we going to get to meet them? Kurt, my husband, always got to meet them. But if they didn't date for that long, I didn't get to meet them. But I thought, you know what, I really like her. She was very good with the kids. She was very complimentary. She always wanted to help. I thought she was great. So I never had any issue with her ever. So the fact that she's saying these things that I was a C and I always have been is very interesting, but whatever. The whole pool thing, when that came out, I did see it. I don't see much. I don't have Twitter. I'm not on any of the Facebook pages. I don't see anything unless someone intentionally sends it to me, like, you have to be aware of this. Because I don't care. I don't need to know what people are saying about me. If I don't know you, I don't care what you have to say about me. If I do know you and you're saying things about me, then shame on you. But that'll be addressed at another time, face to face, when I do see you. The whole pool thing was, so first of all, it wasn't the town pool, and that's what she put out there. It was called the Civic, and it's in our neighborhood. It's a neighborhood pool. It's a club. There's a clubhouse. There's a pool. There's swim lessons. There's a basketball court. When you live in our neighborhood, it's like easy for everybody. It's for anybody in Canton to join. And Kristen, John's sister, actually was I think she was the vice president at one point. Steve would win the Kristen's, Patrick and Kaylee's father would win the chili cook-off every year. They would do like an Easter thing and a Christmas thing, and they still do. It's the best club. When we first moved to Canton, to meet all of the people in Canton, it was awesome. The McCabe's actually belonged right before we joined, because I think they bought a house at the time with their own pool. And so there was a time, it was not after Patrick's parents passed. It was actually, I think, the summer of 4th grade going into 5th grade. And John had moved across town to a bigger house. And he did not join the Civic because it was across town and probably a pain in the butt and whatever. And Kaylee wasn't really into it anymore. As the kids get older, they're in that middle school age where they don't want to go to the pool. They want to wait till they're old enough to be a lifeguard kind of thing. But they didn't belong at the time. I had taken my 2 kids and my friend's 2 kids, and they had a guest fee. It was $5 a guest. And they didn't accept Venmo at the time. There was a board meeting going on inside the clubhouse, and they were having a board. I was formerly on the board. They were having a board meeting about people not paying the guest fee and people having repeat guests week after week. And so we all knew this was going on. It was in like a newsletter of some sort or whatever. And so I show up with my 2 kids, my friend's 2 kids. I gave the $10 to the lifeguard. I signed them in, and we were getting ready to leave. And Mr. O'Keefe drops off Patrick. So Patrick comes walking in, and I was like, "Oh, hey, buddy, like who you coming here with?" And I think he was coming with another friend that hadn't arrived yet. I'm not really sure. And I was like, "Oh, I don't have money to sign him in. Oh my God." And so Ryan, my son, ran out to Papa and said, "Do you have $5 so we could sign Patrick in?" Because again, there was a board meeting about this, and I didn't want to get in trouble or be singled out and so Ryan ran back in with the $5, gave it to the lifeguard, signed them in. As we were leaving, another friend of ours was coming in, and I said, is Patrick staying with you? And she said, "Yep, sure, he can stay with me." And so it was not a big deal. Later that night, John had called me, and we got into a beef about it because I don't know what, he misunderstood the story at some point. Anyway, it wasn't a big deal. The only people that knew about that story were myself, my husband, the woman who was coming into the pool that took Patrick, and the woman whose children I had. So I knew when it was out there in social media, and it was called the town pool, and that there was a discretion or whatever over $5 for a guest fee. I knew it had come from Karen because nobody else knew that story, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And that's when I first started saying to myself, like, wait a minute, what? Why is this even this? Nobody knew that story except for her. So I know she's got something to do with the story getting out and making me look like an asshole.
Bad. Yeah, right.
Like
right.
He did not get thrown out, for starters. It wasn't the summer after his parents passed away. And it was just, the only truth about that story is there was a pool and a guest fee.
Right.
pretty much it.
So did any of you have any indication that Karen was capable of this? Like, you know, just like you said, you know, taking this situation and twisting it to make, you know, these huge villains, just like she did with everything that night. Did anyone have any indication that Karen had these kind of tendencies where she would do this and create these
Karen that I knew.
storylines to make villains?
The Karen that I knew and the Karen that I really liked is not the Karen that I see now. It's not even close to the same person. The Karen that I knew that dated John was very caring. She was very loving. She took care. She was wonderful. I mean, I really liked her. My kids loved her. My son was like, she would, you know, interact with my daughter, but my son loved her. They would go to Red Sox games and he was like, we had the best time. We went to this place, you know, he loved her, you know, my husband loved her. That is not the person that I see today.
I mean, and I mean, we all know, I mean, Jen loved her. Jen always says that.
So she's kind of like a chameleon.
Yeah.
I don't know what she is.
It sounds like she's like this chameleon person who, it's very scary to think that there are these people like hiding in your life that when their back is pushed to the wall, that would be capable of doing these things. That scares me more than like a Jeffrey Dahmer, that there might be that person that is fooling me in my life, that when, you know, the chips are down, they're not going to be a person of integrity. They're going to be a person that does something like this. That's very scary, at least to me. Are there any other things, Kerry, that you've seen in social media or stories that you've seen that maybe you want to clarify?
Oh, there's a lot. I don't see a lot of the stories. Like I said, I don't have Twitter. I'm not on any of the Facebook pages. The perjury story about me committing perjury.
Well, good job. I mean,
no, I didn't. The way in which the question was asked was kind of crappy. And had Adam followed up afterwards and said, did you in fact hear the Google search? The answer would have been no. So the question
meeting
was
in the grand jury.
In the grand jury when she was being indicted. And I don't think my testimony had anything to do with her being indicted.
Right.
I'm pretty sure if I wasn't there, it may have still happened. I might be wrong. The perjury thing, I think the question started with like, what if anything, of course, that's what we start with. What if anything, did you hear happen in the back of the car, you know, when you were in the back of the cruiser? And so that you heard. And so I start to tell the story of what happened in the back of the cruiser. Now, I was staring at the ambulance. Again, I didn't know Jen, and Karen was like screaming, and I was like, I can't with either one of you, because I didn't know Jen, and my friend is in trouble, and I am focusing on him. So I'm staring at the ambulance. Whatever happened in the back of the ambulance, I knew there was a Google search because Jen and I did a timeline that Mrs. O'Keefe had asked us to do. And so my response is, at some point, there was a Google search, how long to whatever. And then she said, and this is documented. Do you think I hit him? Do you think I hit him? Do you think I hit him? So I go to say like whatever may have happened in the back of the car, but I specifically say, and then she said. So let's remember, the Google search wasn't a thing at this time. This was like before or something.
Right.
It wasn't a thing.
Right.
It wasn't a thing.
It wasn't anything
Nobody
for you
even,
to make.
it wouldn't be anything that I would lie about. And
that's right, because that wasn't even when the software update, the original software update at that point didn't even bring up 227 as a Google search when it was parsing. It wasn't until the following year in 2023 when Richard Green did the new Celebrate update extraction. And that's when that came in. So yeah, that was not a thing during
was I on the same
Green
wavelength with the conspiracy. Like, no, it wasn't a thing. The Google search was not a thing back in, I think it was May of 2022.
Right.
It wasn't even a thing. So like, why would I I don't know.
Well, and this is the thing. I listened to the
Yeah.
cross-examination again today. I sat through it, and it is infuriating because, and it's classic Alan Jackson. He is, and I've said this before repeatedly, he is he plays on words. So connotation of words is more of what he wants to dramatize than actual context. He wants a connotation. So I actually have right here, I had kept, this was actually from trial. This was from the first trial. Let's see if I can pull both these up. Oh no, I can't pull both up, but here's one of them. So he had used words like when he was questioning witnesses, and he really tried to kind of manipulate the words, like when Higgins and Brian Albert were in the bar and they were just kind of like playing around, horseplay. It was like they were practice fighting. It was like he wants these words to be the connotation so people perceive things a certain way. We know how he basically, or they went at the medic McLaughlin versus about acquaintance versus friend.
Right.
How, you know, Brian Albert upgraded his phone, but they just continued over and over to say he destroyed his phone. He destroyed his phone. I mean, that sounds nefarious. And we know that the contents of his phone was all there when you upgrade your phone. This is, when they had the picture of Chris Albert. Remember they were on the lawn. That was the whole Never Cracker thing. Right. And they kept saying it was a prank. You were pulling a prank. And Chris Albert was like, it was a friendly joke. We were joking around, but it became a prank. Things like that. But I also wanted to point out real quickly is that the irony of this. So, and I find this very important. So in the email that got shown, these were communications between Alan Jackson and ARCA's Daniel Wolf. And these were not handed over until the defense was cornered about having communications that they were not being transparent about. And in them, one of the things that Daniel Wolf says to Alan Jackson is, yes, I've realized in my testimony that I said it was 20 times when you have asked how many I've been qualified for. I misinterpreted the question. My fault, 11 trials, 7 depositions. Not sure if you want me to clear that up. Now, it's a little shady that he's like, do you want me to clear it up? But whatever, we can have a little grace for that, right? But it makes you want to ask, hey, did you berate this guy for misinterpreting something on the stand? Because we know you didn't, right? You are using a different measuring stick for how you are treating one witness with another witness. And it's like he didn't want that, right? He wanted you to look like, again, the semantics of misinterpretation, it's a lie. Right. You know, those two things are one and the same. No one in their life would ever say a misinterpretation is a lie, right? I mean, a misinterpretation or however you say, you know, however you answer that question, was how you were wording it and what you were saying was your truth, right? You were just answering the question as best you can. So anyways, I didn't mean to go on a tangent. I'm kind of a word nerd. I have, you know, I have a background, I have an English degree, and I'm trained in statement analysis, and I just get really honed in on how words are manipulated. And that is something that Alan Jackson really, really masters. and what makes him really good.
Mhm.
But it also makes him, in my opinion, quite a bit of abuses his power a little
I
bit.
have a word.
Right.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
I have a word.
We all have a word.
Telepathically, I can hear that word right now.
Well,
So-
at the end of the day, I didn't lie.
Right.
I was telling.
No.
I was answering a question. I've never done this before. Like, I was in front of a grand jury. I was answering a question. Now, had I been stopped and said, nope, that's not the question I asked, could you just answer this? It would have been different. And it's not Adam Lally's fault. It just, I didn't lie. I told what I knew happened in the car because we did a timeline that Mrs. O'Keefe told us to do. She literally said, like, to me, you guys need to write this down because you're not going to remember this if this is ever a trial or a thing or whatever. She's a cop's mom. Like, she was like, you need to write it down. So we did. And Jen had said to me, do you remember when she asked me to Google? And I was like, no, because I didn't, but I knew it happened.
Right.
Right. And obviously they're trying to
it's a smart
paint
thing
a
to
picture.
do.
Well,
right. The
I'll
timeline.
advise anybody in my shoes to do it because
right.
You don't remember
and
things.
she wanted to know what happened to her son, and she wanted you guys to remember what happened to her son.
100%.
And, you know, how dare she, right? As everyone else says,
100%.
want
the people that have anything bad to say about Mrs. O'Keefe, I hope you burn in hell. Like, it's just like, how you don't know her, you know what she's been through, and you have terrible things to say about her. Like, you're just, there's a special place for people that have something to say about her.
Even if you believe
to
Karen
suggest
is
that she's
innocent,
a co-conspirator is ridiculous. Like,
right.
All of
And
it
if
is
you think
ridiculous.
Karen is innocent, there is still no need to degrade a victim's mother. I mean, there's no excuse for it. And anyone who enables people who do it, I mean, you're just as bad. It's the most egregious thing. And I think that anchor Julie Grant from Court TV, I mean, she was phenomenal when she called it out, the treatment that she saw, and she got lashback from it, from the Free Karen Reed movement for saying, why are you treating a victim's family like that? I mean,
I don't care what side of this you're on, but to go after the O'Keefes because they don't agree with you, who's not a part of it, who knows nothing. I mean, I'm pretty sure the O'Keefes know more than the average bear on what happened to their son. And for you to yell at her when she's walking into her son's murder trial, like, what? I can't wait till the karma comes for you, because it's going to. That's just disgusting.
I don't think we've ever seen it before.
Yep.
I really don't.
And
I don't think we've seen it before.
No, and as if they would have been in on that cover up, like, they're not involved in that conspiracy. They're not, and they've tried so hard to make Paul involved in it and Peggy involved in it. And it's just the most ridiculous and offensive thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Who would cover up their son's murder? Who would cover up their brother's murder? No. I mean, come on, you guys. There's not even a foundation for it, right? So there's no criminal enterprise underneath this that any of the O'Keefes would be involved in. It is absolutely ludicrous.
And not to mention,
it's sad. You've got a grieving mother, you've got a grieving father.
Thankfully, she doesn't see most of this stuff. Maybe she's seen a little here and there. Papa doesn't see anything.
You're right. Right.
But
so he doesn't know that he believes Karen is innocent.
So that's a no.
The rumors.
That's a
He
dog.
didn't. He doesn't know that he was going to sit with their face.
And he
No.
wants to sit with me
Yes.
and
The
read.
reason he
Come
was
on.
not in court,
God.
and I will say this, and I hope HIPAA doesn't come after me, but the reason he was not in court is because he had a bad hip. And so he now has a good hip. And so
good.
like, I don't think he wants to do it. Like, he just, people take different roads. Like, you don't, Mrs. O'Keefe and Paul were going to be there. I mean, there was days where Mrs. O'Keefe was sick as a dog. And I was like, Peg, you don't have to go to everyone. And she's like, nope, I'm going to be with Paul. Even when she testified, she was so sick that day that we were like, Peg, you do not have to do this today. Like, they can push you off. And she was like, no, I'm going to do it. And you can hear it when she actually testified. She was wicked sick. Like, she was really sick.
She was so strong on the stand.
But she was like, no, I'm doing it. And like, even now I'm like, Peg, there's days you don't have to be on the Zoom. And she's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be with Paul. And Papa, I think Papa's mindset is, he's like, I'm going to go about my business. I don't want to do this. And I don't blame him. I don't blame. I don't know. I don't know which way I would be if I were in their shoes, but they get up every day and they do what they do. They take care of those kids.
Man.
Well, I think that courtroom is very suffocating, especially for men. I think it's very hard for a man to sit in a courtroom. And I can just say this, having done it with my own husband, we went to opening statements in the case that we were connected to. And we got home, we went there at 8, we got home at 4. And he looked at me and said, I can't go back there. I can't do it again, because it is draining emotionally. And men are not, they're taught to hide all that stuff. So to sit in that courtroom every single day, I can understand why Mr. O'Keefe wasn't there. And in our case, Dad did not go in the courtroom every day. He stayed outside the courtroom. So, when people make these judgments about who's in the courtroom and who's not, it just tells me that you're very ignorant. You're very ignorant, and you should consider yourself blessed, because you don't know what that is, to have to sit on those benches and to have to feel that. And you're also beyond ignorant. You're not a very caring, empathetic person, because you should try to put yourself in that person's shoes. And I can tell you those are not shoes you want to be in.
No.
So I understood it. There are people like Mel, I don't want to say her name, but there are content creators that made up stories and said that Mr. O'Keefe wasn't there because he wanted to sit with the Reeds. And that is absolute.
I actually told him that. I told him that at baseball. I go, so I hear you want to sit over on the other side. And he was like, what? And I said, the rumor is that you want to sit on the other side of the courtroom. And he was like, oh yeah, that's cute. And I said, yeah. He goes, you got that wrong.
And that's the thing with conspiracy pushers, right? When you look at something, so I remember I had a doctor appointment once. I had an MRI, and they found like a little speck on the photo of my MRI, and they were like, so this could either be something serious, or this could be a glitch in the MRI camera, like on the film itself or the whatever. And I remember I was so pissed, because I'm like, so basically this is either serious or this has nothing to do with me. So anyways, fast forward, they redid the testing. They're like, yeah, sorry. It was the actual MRI. I don't know, the imaging or something had the speck on it. It wasn't, actually
I think they
in my
call
body.
it an artifact. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you would know. So I remember my doctor saying to me, and this always stuck with me, and he goes, when you look into something and you find something, you have to keep following that rabbit hole. So even if it goes nowhere, I ended up having to go to another MRI, another, just to figure out what this little thing was, and it just made me think about how when people are looking at things and they see like one little red herring, and it's like suddenly it's like all these other things they're looking at trying to connect, like this one red herring means something when it doesn't, so Mr. O'Keefe not sitting in the courtroom is suddenly he doesn't want to be there. He thinks Karen's innocent. They put a narrative to it, and then it's a fact. Suddenly it's a fact, and it fits their narrative, and so they go with it, and it builds their confirmation bias of what's going on. But what I want to say real quickly too is that the conspiracy theory entails you, Kerry, being brainwashed by Jen. And at that time, you guys had only met once briefly in a shoe store. That's correct. So you guys did not.
We went shoe shopping, and then we went to lunch with John. But it's either I'm brainwashed or I'm some malicious evil devil that is going to watch people kill my friend and just keep my mouth shut. And I think by now you get out, I don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And same with Mrs. O'Keefe. You guys have very strong personalities. I mean, to even think that you would just go with the flow over people murdering your good friend and just asking you to lie for them and risk your own livelihood. I mean, it's so absurd.
It's so asinine. It's
Well, I think too, one of the things that she wanted to clear up too was even in the newest complaint that Karen Reed and her lawyers filed, again, still pushing that Kerry, that Jen McCabe directed the detour to 34 to One Meadows, so they could get some more time to take care of John, and she directed all that. So I know that was something she wanted to clear up too, because as you can probably see now, no one's directing anyone except. So yeah, did you want to talk about? Yeah.
I am the oldest of my siblings. Jen is the youngest of her siblings. Now, there's a little bit, my best friend's also the oldest, and it's usually like the one that takes a little bit more charge. That morning, I literally said, like, did you check the house? And Karen said, no. I said, okay, you didn't check the house. That's common sense. Like, let's go check the house.
Why wouldn't she check the house before?
Why didn't you check the house? Like, and listen, and I'll give it to her. If he didn't come home and you were frantic, and I get it. I don't know what I would do. If my husband didn't come home and I was frantic, I certainly wouldn't assume he got hit by a plow and was dead, but that's just me. But when I said, did you check the house? And she said, no. I said, okay, then that's what we're going to do. Going back to the house, I'm going to check the house, because he could be on a couch. He could be in the bathroom. I don't know where the hell he is. We're also not taking two cars out. Okay. So like, I'm like, Betty by the books. Like they said, don't have two cars on the road. We're not having two cars on the road. My mother's a wicked stickler. You're not driving in conditions.
Just to pause real quickly, just as a reminder to people watching the blizzard, the reason why you didn't want to take two cars is because of the snowstorm.
It was ridiculous. My husband told me not to go out. And I was like, no. Something's happening. John's missing. He's like, yeah, you're not going. He's on a couch. And I was like, watch me. And so I did. Karen was supposed to come to my house. Everyone knows. I already testified to the whole thing, whatever. But it was my idea. It was not Jen's. And I don't even know if Jen suggested something that I would have let it happen. I was like, nope, this is what we're doing. Okay. Everybody get in your cars. Let's go. We're dropping a car off. We will get in my car and we will go in one car, and then we'll go look at him if he's not in the house. Jen just was like, okay. Like she had someone show up at her house screaming, I think. And then no, it was me. It was entirely me. I was like, this is what we're doing, because this is common sense 101. Like, check the freaking house. So we did. And then I was like, all right, he's not in the house. Like, let's get in the car and go. And as we're white knuckling it, Jen's in the passenger seat. She's in the back seat. No seatbelts. I'm losing my mind because if I go into a tree or something because of the storm, something could happen to her. And it was, yes, did I scream at her? I did, because she wasn't putting her seatbelt on. She was acting erratic. And if she was acting cool, calm, and collected, I never would have said anything to her, but you couldn't control her. And I was trying to drive in a blizzard to look for our friend on the side of like walking. I don't know why we thought he was walking, but I was like, okay, if you think he's walking, we'll look and we'll drive the route and see if he's walking in a blizzard. Like hindsight, I'm like, he never would have walked home in a blizzard. He would have called an Uber. He would have called Kurt. He would have called anybody. But
he would have stayed the night, I'm sure, right? I mean, if the blizzard was coming on.
He wasn't going to walk home, but whatever. I mean, we were looking, Jen and I were looking. I don't know what she was doing in the back seat, but it was 1000% my idea. This is because it's common sense. Like, we're going back to the house, we're dropping up a car, we're searching the house, and then we'll go, and this is what's happening unless somebody has a better idea, and I doubt either one of you do. No offense to either one of them, but Karen was like, she was crazy and shocked, frantic, and Jen was kind of like, what is happening? You know, like, she just showed up at Jen's house screaming. I expected her at my house, so I was literally sitting there waiting. Jen didn't expect her. And then Jen didn't expect me because I was like, where are you? And she was like, Jen's. I'm like, Jen, who? Like, what? You were supposed to come here. Jen McCabe's. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Oh, all right, stay there. I'm going to come. And that's what happened. It's common sense. It's not hard.
Yeah. And so the defense is like, Jen McCabe, you know, orchestrated all of this, and the reality is Jen McCabe did not orchestrate anything. She wasn't even supposed to show up at Jen McCabe.
It wasn't anything that was orchestrated.
Right. I mean, it's insane.
This is what we're doing. End of story.
Right.
Let's back up. Go. Let's go drop a car off and we'll go look. And that's all there is to it.
But and it's like I've said a million times, you know, defense attorneys get a set of facts. So they got those facts of what you guys did, and they constructed a story around it. And so they can construct whatever fantasy they want to construct right up to that line where they cross, where they're lying. And my personal opinion is this defense team did cross that line. But it's up to the jurors and it's up to the general public when they read this stuff to look at it with a skeptical eye. I mean, these are very biased people creating a very skewed story with a set of facts that are not good for their client. And that is what is happening. And the fact that so many people in that area fell for the whole Aiden Kearney, you know, song and dance. And when, you know, people say that Karen was not looking for an Aiden Kearney, that's a lie. John Silvera told Vanity Fair that they had tossed that around. They had tossed around involving Aiden Kearney. So they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew they were going to give him, you know, shake it up. Here's a set of facts that we have. This is the way we see it. It might not be reality, but you go ahead and parade it down the street, and you go ahead and taint that jury poll for us. That's my opinion. I don't know how anybody else feels, but that's my opinion of what happened. And it's really, really, really sad what happened to very innocent people who were just trying to do the right thing that morning.
I think I totally get, you know, that they tried to, you know, like you said, you know, twist the facts, but I can't figure out how they can put that in the complaint when she's already testified to what really happened, who directed it, who was in charge. That's
three times.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention
I've gone under oath and said the same story.
Like, at this
it's not going to change.
At this point, like that's a basic lie from the defense. Like they're lying and they know it.
Yeah, there's not one piece of evidence
Yeah.
that
Yep.
says that was true. I mean,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah.
That they're.
I
that
mean,
they're
unless
still
Karen
saying-
wants to speak up under her deposition, but it's like it's just wild how they just put blatant, provable lies in that lawsuit. I mean, we did 3 episodes on it and we still couldn't even get to half of it.
Right.
I haven't even read. I read some of it. I just
Touch all of them. No.
Just pick up a Harry Potter book instead.
I don't have the
Better
capacity anymore
fiction.
it's just, it's insane. And at the end of the day, my friend is dead and he's not coming back. And at the end of the day, Jen and myself and countless others are helping his family do the things he would have done if he was here on a daily basis. And it's like, you guys don't know a day in our lives. You guys don't know a day in the O'Keefe's lives. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how much Jen does for
I think
Mrs.
that's the
O'Keefe,
sad part
or
because
for Kaylee or for Patrick.
Right.
Or even now my kids, because she knows my kids now. Like, I just don't understand how if you actually met her, you would be ashamed of yourself to think the things you think about her.
I can confirm as well that you would be utterly ashamed of yourselves. Utterly ashamed of yourselves.
It
Well,
doesn't make any
I
sense.
think these people that are standing on the corner saying that they're about the justice system, they don't understand how it works. And they don't understand that defense attorneys can go right up to that line and they can create a lie, right? So if they're picking out a little bit of fact and they're spinning it, they're fine. They're fine doing that. But these people think they understand the justice system and they understand, which this blows my mind. There is zero corruption in the case of John O'Keefe, in Karen Reed's prosecution. None. Not a single.
FBI did an investigation. The Canton Police Department did an audit.
Thank you.
Who else needs to look at this case? Bring them. If you've got another institute that wants to look at this case, bring them all. Pay for them all. Have a fundraiser. Have all of these, any institution you want to come in and take a look at this case and find corruption, bring them. Bring them. Let's do it a 3rd, 4th, 5th time. You're not going to find it. It's insane.
These people are using
It's almost at this
they're used
point where it feels like they want a corruption story. Like they're going to ignore all the things, the federal investigation closing with 0 indications of any conspiracy. I mean, sure, we have Proctor saying some derogatory words in his text messages. You know, that can be a debate of whether that was, reasons to be fired or not in his personal phones. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter in regard to the conspiracy theory because there's no indication there was any conspiring whatsoever found. And then they had like you said, the Canton Police Department audit where it was a company that came from out of state with former FBI agents and retired police officers that came in and meticulously went through they named all these things they went through. And they did up certain things that the police department needed better protocols on. Yeah. Wonderful. I mean, if they didn't find
every police department.
Right, exactly.
Police department in any town.
Yep. Exactly. So, and they just ignore. They demand it. They demand the federal investigation. They demand the audit. And then when it comes,
they want to stop it at one point because they didn't like the direction it was going in.
The audit.
I feel like I remember at one point the people that.
I know they were the ones that demanded the audit.
But at some point, I feel like I remember reading in.
They were like no, forget it.
Like the Canton, whatever. They were like, no, we don't like the way this is going. Oh, you don't?
Right.
Like you hired us.
Right.
You guys are the ones that hired us. They did a huge vote. Everybody agreed. or well, the people that agreed.
Like,
was
shouldn't they be happy? Shouldn't they be happy to be like, oh my God, the federal investigation closed. Thank God they did not find any conspiring of our police officers. Thank God the audit found nothing. I
Yep.
mean, you would think there would be this deep sigh of relief of thank God. Instead, it's like, nope, that must be a lie.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're in on it.
Hank Brennan told the court that. Oh, it must be a lie. It's like, you really think that's how that
Everyone's
works? No.
lying except for Karen. It's amazing. Like how many? I don't even know how many people we're up to now.
It would be over 100 people.
And yet Jen and I willingly handed over our phones at the very beginning.
Yes.
She didn't willingly hand over anything.
And her media statements are not, her alibi stories have changed over different media interviews. So it's like, for someone who they believe to be 100% truthful, she sure lies a lot, or she sure changes her story a lot. But they won't look into that.
No.
The people that advocate for her, I have yet to see them actually do an unbiased look into her media statements and to really examine them and the data and to really look at the numbers, not the numbers that Alan Jackson told Turtle Boy after the trial ended, because that was false. He was going off of the original time variant, not the updated time variant. And they're like, oh, well, he updated it during the trial. Well, you know what? The dog expert lady joined trial one in the middle of trial one.
Like a month before trial one started.
Right. Richard Green's affidavits evolved over time. So it's like you have to look at things by the same measuring stick. I mean, if you want to know the truth, if you want to be open-minded, but at this point, it's hard to even believe that some of these people even want to know the truth, to seek the truth.
I don't think they do. Yeah, I don't think they do. I think that if they even, I believe some of them are starting to see the truth or have seen it,
but they're not.
But I don't think they can, because, and another reason I don't think they can is then they would have to deal with how they've treated all these people and what they've done to all these people. And I don't know how you would be able to do that after what we've seen them do to these people.
Yeah. Speaking of, so Kerry, I wanted to ask you, there was a question I had. Oh, the day that you were kind of chased out of court. And what was that like, having someone calling you a cop killer? There's a video, I don't have it to upload, but there's the video of you, and I believe it was Jen and Matt McCabe walking to your vehicle. What was that moment like for you, being screamed at like that?
It's indescribable. It was, here we are leaving the courtroom for my friend who has been murdered with his family all around. And I'm literally like, I was like, oh, nope, not doing this. So I beelined it to the car that I don't have the keys to unlock. So Matt's brother kind of beelined it with me, and he was like, why are you walking so fast? And I was like, do you not see what's behind? His wife, Jen's sister-in-law, stayed with Jen and Matt, and we got all the way down, and I had to wait for them because I didn't have the keys, went across the street, and he's screaming, cop killers, cop killers. I'm like, is this is insane. Like, this is insane. All I did was answer a phone call to go help my friend, and now I'm being chased. What? Jen answered the same call I did. We're being chased with a camera calling us cop killers? This is okay? Like, I just, and it got worse from there, because anytime we would go before Dedham kind of got a handle on things, we would walk up the stairs to go to court, and people were screaming in our faces, like screaming, like really close. And there was a point where I was like, I am not doing the stairs today. I'm doing the ramp. And everyone's like, just do the stairs. I'm like, I'm not doing it. They're too close. I don't understand how it went on for as long as it did on those courthouse steps.
I don't think anybody understands that. I don't think anybody does how that was allowed.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever happened to other people. I hope, I'd feel bad if it ever did. I hope it never happens again. It was awful. I mean, I don't care what people say. We're innocent. We've done nothing wrong. And we're being screamed at. Like,
and I imagine too, when Karen got on the steps in front of the courthouse and said she was the only one who tried to help John that morning, you know, and I think about obviously you and Jen and all the medics, all the the firefighters, the law enforcement. I mean, everyone involved in trying to save his life. The audacity that she stood on those courtroom steps and had the audacity to say that blatant statement. I mean, how did that make you feel?
well, I was at home watching that. And you know what? She can come up with whatever she wants. I know what happened. I know the truth. I was there. So she can say whatever she wants. She knows what happened. She knows the truth. She later admits in one of her many documentaries or whatever the heck, different things that she's done. She does say, like, I was doing CPR, Kerry was doing CPR. She admits we were doing CPR as well. Never mind the first responder. What did the first responders get there and say, no, we'll let her handle it? We're just going to watch. I mean, what? You were the only one trying to save his life?
Well, and then, I mean,
that's interesting.
And Jen took over for you, and she still says that she waited in the car.
She did not wait in the car.
To get out of the car.
If she was in the car, then how did she get the blankets out of the back of the car? Because you have to be outside of the vehicle.
She's magic.
Yeah. Common sense has to kick in at some point. I mean, she wasn't sitting in the front seat looking for blankets that were in the back. And by the way, this is another thing. People are like, she carried blankets in her car. Yes, people, I have children. I carry blankets in my car. Sometimes they get chilly. Sometimes we have soccer games and it's outside. Sometimes I get chilly.
I have blankets in my car.
My mother's always said, do you have blankets in the car in
blankets
case your car ever breaks down? Like, it's a thing. We live in New England. What do you mean? Why does she have blankets in her car? You know what else I have in my car? An umbrella. Shocker. But I do. I have an umbrella in my car.
You're supposed to have blankets.
I also have 56 napkins shoved in the side door of my car in case someone needs a napkin. Like, I bet that's a problem too. I can't with some of the comments are just.
There was another thing I was going to mention that we hadn't talked about, because obviously we had all talked, me and the girls, before about things we wanted to ask you, but there was something we didn't even hit on, and I feel like I don't even want to bring it up because it's so ridiculous.
What the hell?
But but I feel like it makes me so angry when I see these ridiculous, and it's just in the last few days where you don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
and
poor Sandra Bullock, by the way. Like, I don't think she has any of this.
It really angers me because as someone who I deal with things, which you know, because you do too, and Jen does too, with like humor, right? No matter what happens, my dad died 5 years ago. It's the worst day of my life. It's still the worst day of my life. I made jokes that day. Like my brother made jokes that day. Like that's what we do, right? And the audacity of these people to take one text, right? 3 days into
Which shouldn't be out in the world,
correct.
By the way.
Correct.
That's
another whole issue. That's another whole issue. But 3 days into the most traumatic, awful, what I would think would be ever in your life to happen, the most traumatic event, that you guys made a light moment, right? For 1 second.
To bring levity to a situation.
Audacity,
Well, it wasn't just us.
Right.
We were all saying, like, this is going to be a movie. Like, you don't have a brother, a sister, and her husband die within 2 months of each other, and then John died. Like, it wasn't even who did it. Like, there was no blame on Kerry. It was just holy shit.
But even like
this is going to be
that's
a movie.
normal. It doesn't even it's just the audacity of these people to take this and and they try as they might, right? It never comes off. Like it never goes to anyone else except these weirdos that try to make it into something it's not, you know? But it just really, it just blows my mind, you know, the things that, and if this is all they have, I was saying that, I think maybe I said it to Julie today. If all these people have is stuff like that and made up things, I mean, God help Aiden Kearney in his case and the civil case, because it's not going to be like the criminal trial. I think we all know that. So, you know, if these things are the only things they have, then
well,
good
let
luck.
me just clear up the Sandra Bullock for just a moment.
That's where it's coming from, right? It's coming
Right.
from Aiden Kearney
From him.
and his.
I couldn't tell you, but I will tell you this.
person.
Sandra Bullock,
And-
I love her, but she's not tall. Neither am I. She's brunette, as am I. That's as far as it went. And the woman isn't even acting. And I think the joke was, I hope Sandra Bullock comes out of retirement because we might need her. Like, I didn't go, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jen, we had said was Angelina. I don't even remember. We had one for John. We had someone for everybody. And it was one of those like, who are you going to play in the you got to remember the 4 days, the day it happened, I didn't eat, which at the time I understand. I was lard ass, whatever. They called me, whatever need be. But I didn't eat for 4 days. Like I didn't know my name. I logged on to work on Monday and some of my executives were like, but what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just gonna, and they were like, no. You should probably be off today. And I was like, oh, okay, but I can work. And they were like, no, you probably shouldn't. I mean, I didn't know my name. I mean, my husband had to drive to go pick up the kids because I was like, oh, no, we're going to go get, Lexi at like 2. And he's like, she doesn't get out till 2:30 or whatever. I did not know up from down, left from right. My phone did not stop because I am Braintree with John and Canton. So when I tell you, I had people messaging me from Aruba. It was, my friend Lori ended up taking my phone at one point and was like, I'm turning it off. Like, you're not responding to anybody else. It was absolutely insanity. And when Jen and I and the O'Keefe's, we didn't know if we should go to the first arraignment or whatever it's called when she first got brought in. Yeah. And we went and I saw the cameras and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the? And I asked one of the guard people and I was like, can you just stand here, please? Because I was like, I don't want to be on that what? I don't know what this, oh God. And he stood in front of us. And when they ever said mine and Jen's name, I was like, oh, did they just say I mean? Oh my God. And I was like, don't move, dude. And then they zoomed in on John's 2 cousins when they were saying Kerry and Jen. And I was like, and I didn't know this at the time. My husband was home watching it. A family friend who's an attorney called my husband, was like, is that? And Kurt was like, yep, that's her. And I was like, oh my God, they just said our names. Holy shit, they just said our names. And I was like, I don't even, and it was when we left that courtroom, we had to go meet the state police and hand our phones over.
Right.
And they took our phones for 8 hours. We signed our lives away. Like, can we clone this, use it for future things? We were like, yeah, sure, take it. Like, what? Right. Go ahead. I mean, looking back, I'm like, I don't know what made me ask that guard. I think I just got nervous of all the cameras. I don't know. And I was on the end. I don't know what made me ask that man to like, hey, stand here. And he was probably looking at me like, why do I have to stand next to you? Well, guess what? Thank God you did.
It's probably something you can't describe. I think that's when too, when you just said that, is when they all talk about how Jen Googled her name, which I think,
oh God.
Yeah. Right.
Of course you did. When we got home, I was like, where else is my name?
They have children that they have to worry about to see what they're seeing. So of course, and that's so, nefarious too, that, God forbid that, it's all these ridiculous things that is normal in every other person's lives except these people.
I Googled
and bringing
context.
I
John, I Googled, like, because I was like, I don't know where this is like, they just said my name, like, oh my God, they just said my name. We were not prepared.
Right.
And we said downstairs to Adam Lally, we were like, hold up, dude, like, you didn't tell us. And he was like, sorry about that. I'm like, no. Like, we don't know how this works. We've never done this. Like, I found out the hard way.
Go with the questions.
Cameras. I don't know. And I was on the end. I don't know what made me ask that man to, like, hey, stand here. And he was probably looking at me like, why do I have to stand next to you? Well, guess what? Thank God you did.
Yeah, it's probably something you can't describe. I think that's when too, when you just said that, is when they all talk about how Jen Googled her name, which I think.
Oh God.
Yeah. Right.
Of course you did. When we got home, I was like, where else is my name?
They have children that they have to worry about to see what they're seeing. So of course, and that's so, nefarious too, that, God forbid that, it's all these ridiculous things that is normal in every other person's lives except these people.
I Googled.
And bringing
context. I
context.
Googled John, I Googled, like, because I was like, I don't know where this is, like, they just said my name, like, oh my God, they just said my name. We were not prepared.
Right.
And we said downstairs to Adam Lally, we were like, hold up, dude, like, you didn't tell us. And he was like, sorry about that. I'm like, no. Like, we don't know how this works. We've never done this. Like, I've never done any of it.
And I think too is like the defense, their entire thing, and a lot of times any defense, I would assume they want to muddy clear waters, something that is blatantly obvious. They do have a job to do. They should do it ethically, right? But to muddy these waters and create chaos among what's very, very clear. I forgot where I was going with this. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know either. They do try to muddy the waters, but you know what? It's one thing to muddy the waters. It's another thing to ruin the lives of witnesses who didn't ask to be witnesses, and you don't have a choice. It's not like you can stand up there and say, I'm not going to answer that, because then you're in contempt and you get arrested. Like, that's what I was told anyway, because I was like, why do I have to go?
That's where I was going to say is they like to take things out of context or not give proper context to things, like, like the Sandra Bullock thing, or, these things that are released out, and, or, with Jen's 911 call. And what I've learned in statement analysis, when, the Karen fanatics will be like, oh my God, Jen referred to John as a man. I believe it was, right? A man in the snow. But here's the thing.
Because there was a man in the snow.
Right. And here's the thing. With
is there a statement analysis? Is there like a way,
Right. And in statement analysis, you will kind of put little checks next to things that stand out to you that could mean something in a cluster, right? So, like not referring to a person in a particular way or using proper pronouns or whatever can show that they're trying to separate themselves, right, from a situation or an event. But you need it in clusters. You need it more. It's not a sign of deception when you have one moment here or, something else way over here. It's like you have to collect a collection of signs in order to say there's probably deception here. And you got to bring context to it, because, okay, well, what does this mean? Well, she wanted to get out as much information as quickly as possible to get emergency care there as quickly as possible. And her to say the most important details in those first few seconds is exactly what she did. And I believe it was in the audit report. They said she did that phone call exactly how they would want someone to make an emergency phone call.
Yeah, there's
I
there's
remember that. They
script
did
for
say
it.
that. They did say that. You're right.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it was John or Ted or Sandra Bullock in the snow, you know, it's
Sandra. I need to publicly apologize to Sandra. I do not think I look anything like you. I think you are beautiful and you're a great actress. And I'm sorry I said your name. You're short and you're a brunette. And now we're never going to live it down. I hope I meet you one day. There's not a script to a 911 call. I mean, here's the thing. That morning, it was a blizzard. So I want all of you, well, I don't know if you guys have snow, but I want all of you to go outside the next really big storm. And you can hear how blanketed everything is. So there's no echoes off of cars. There's no echoes off of like houses. It's like there's a blanket.
It's a sound barrier.
It's
a sound barrier.
Like all of the screaming and yelling, no neighbor came out of their house, not just the Alberts, not one neighbor. With all of that going on, it was also 6 in the morning or so. You had the morning off. There was no sports. Nothing was open. You were basically like, hey, you get to sleep in because the world has stopped. It's a blizzard.
Yes.
So, I mean, I handle things. But like the situation was what it was. Here was my friend. I did not think he was dead. Karen was running around screaming. I didn't know. I couldn't control her. I didn't know what to do. Jen was handling the phone calls and whatnot. I mean, then I went and got Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe. I wasn't hysterical. I wasn't, because it was not the scene to be hysterical. You know, you had one person who was hysterical, and rightfully so. That's her boyfriend that she loved. He's there. There he is. Of course, she's going to be crazy and hysterical running around. But I was just like, okay, we need to. I don't know what to do, but I need to get to the O'Keefes and let them know that something has happened. I truly thought he might make it. I think in my subconscious, I knew. Probably not, but I truly thought like, no.
Well, because you had hope. There was hope there in your mind.
Hope,
yeah,
for sure.
I had hope because I literally looked in the back of the ambulance and I saw tubes moving, and I was like, okay, they wouldn't be working on him if he was gone. Like they wouldn't be. They would, right? Like you wouldn't.
Yep.
No,
that makes sense.
I think when you were talking about the not coming out of the house, I had told you this before. I always think about it when my son and I lived down the Cape. We woke up one morning and we were walking outside or something, and a neighbor said to us, you know, can you believe what happened last night? That was so crazy. And we're both like, what? And he tells us this story that the guy across the street, something very tragic happened in the house, and there were like 10 cop cars outside, 3 ambulances, fire engines, whatever. My son and I never woke up.
No.
We never woke up.
Well, they don't keep the sirens on when they get to the location.
Right.
The lights, but not the sirens.
Right. And it's just for the people, like all of that's their biggest, you know, gotcha, you know, that they go out of their house is so insane to me, especially like she said, not one neighbor came out.
None of them.
No one came out. No one heard it. No one. And if you live here and you get snow, you understand, like it's like she said, blanketed.
It is.
It's
and if Brian Albert was involved, he would be better at running out and running all over the crime scene.
Exactly.
Because there would be drag marks. There would be feet prints for bringing John's body out there, footprints for bringing John's body. I mean, there would be so many reasons for them to run outside. Not hide in a house.
On your front lawn. Like that doesn't even, like that's like common sense 101. Like they lived along the commuter rail, the train tracks. If you logically think about it, there's a blizzard. Who raised their hand and was like, front lawn? Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for anyone.
Especially a Boston police detective and an ATF agent. They would have a better plan. They would have a better plan. And
well, there was a dumpster right across the street, right? A construction type dumpster. So I mean,
I actually Googled it. No one in the history of the world has murdered anyone and put them on their front lawn.
No shit.
Because why would you, right? I
No
mean,
one.
But here's what I say to people. People will say, but, and I go, just riddle me this, okay? I said, so John gets out of the car with his cocktail glass with the straw. Does he hold on to it while he's brought in the house, beat up, mauled by a dog, and then dragged unconsciously to the front lawn and then just decides to let it go? Like, come on. You can't be that dumb.
Right.
You
Right.
can't.
Well, and Karen says he was skipping. He was walking to the front. Well, in one of her interviews, his cup was full, which we know in the bar when he walked out, it was not full. So if his glass was full, that means she had liquor in her car and they filled that cup up. And that's if that part of the story is true. But she says he walked and he sort of skipped
That's how he
to the
walked.
front door.
It is. How
And
he did a little skip.
And to think that he's in the snow with a full glass and walk skipping, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
The glass and the straw were found around where he was found. So if he walked to the door with it, what did he toss it back and was like, I'll grab that later? Like, it doesn't make
Or
sense.
Higgins collected the straw and every little piece of shard. It's so wild and absurd. And then not to mention, it completely defies the logic of his phone not going in. He would have had to walk 32 miles per hour to make it to the door and back.
I picked the phone up. I picked the phone up after they lifted his body. I am on video picking the phone up. It was grass beneath him because probably, I would imagine, because it started snowing on top of him and his body temperature probably melted if anything was on the ground underneath him. It was grass. It's been questioned. Was it really grass? No. I know what grass looks like. It was grass. It was his phone. They lifted him. And I think at the same time, I went over to grab the blankets that I keep in the back of my car, which is, anyway, I grabbed the phone. At one point, I had Karen's phone and I think John's phone at the same time because I was on the phone with her mother, giving her mother my phone number and saying, I'm going to go to the hospital. If you want to call me, I'll be right behind her. I have to get the O'Keefe's. Like, take my phone number down. I can give you any updates I can. Like, I don't, and I would do it all again. If the O'Keefe's needed a ride, if Mrs. Reed needed my phone number, I would do it all again because the situation was, we didn't know what the hell was happening. It was not a good situation, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Jen McCabe like now?
Thank you, Kate, for doing that. Thank you for
Jen.
being there for the O'Keefe's.
Oh my God.
Julie, your audio and your video are lagging like a little bit behind. So I think you're hearing us a little late and then we're talking over you when you're talking because it's like,
Yeah,
I just want you to know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I
Sorry.
don't want you to think we're cutting you off or stuff, but it's like there's a slight lag.
So I had asked her what her relationship with Jen McCabe is like today.
Oh yeah.
Jen and I are very close. I would not have gotten through the last 4 years without Jen. In my life, I've never been through a tragic situation like that. I don't know how first responders do it. I don't know how they go home at night after finding a body or someone murdered. I don't know how you do it I don't understand. I couldn't do it.
For unsung heroes. I mean, they really don't get the credit for what they do, which makes it even more egregious that the medics in this case were.
I could never, ever, I couldn't do it. The only body I had ever seen deceased prior to that was in a funeral home. And so Jen and I are literally in this little boat together. And it's like there were 4 of us there. And Jen's the only one that I can talk to that was there at the same time. I tried to talk to Karen after it happened and she was with her parents and said she would call me back and I never heard from her again. It's just now because of everything that's gone on, my kids have become close with Jen's kids because we're all kind of in this little bubble together. And it's like, you know, who hates you and who's taking pictures of you and who's doing that, you know, you don't know who to trust. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But Jen and I are very close, and I would not have gotten through the last 4 years without her. I don't think Peg would have gotten through the last 4 years without her, without me, without Katie Camerano, without, there's a lot of us. I think we all have gotten through it together. It sucks, but you know what? I find the silver lining in John's death that I have become close with some amazing people.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine what you guys have endured. I mean, I see it. You know, we experience a little bit of that lashback, just speaking up. But we hear, people reach out who don't want their names out there because they're afraid of being doxxed or having their jobs spammed with hate reviews and all these things. They've gone on a mission to silence and shame people to not support you guys.
Yeah,
right. They really have.
I mean, yeah. It's insane. And you guys were failed so many times. I believe this is our online world as well, has not caught the legal side of it, has not caught up all the way with how there's kind of an abuse of the way people are treated online and the way defense teams are starting to use the media to manipulate, and elicit kind of this intimidation of witnesses.
It's horrible. It really is. It should not happen.
It can't ever happen again. I mean, it can't.
It might be the new.
I would hope we never see this again. I can't imagine any other state would allow this to happen. I don't know what has gone on with Massachusetts with this. I really don't. But I can't imagine. I can't see this happening anywhere else. And I would pray that Massachusetts would hopefully learn their lesson from this.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think we're in a society right now, for whatever reason, in the last 5-10 years of let's say like glamorizing murder defendants, kind of conspiracy mindset is kind of feels more prevalent lately online.
No, for sure. With everything. Everything that happens now, there's like this whole conspiracy story behind it. Everything.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There was someone that was in court the other day for murder. I'm not going to say their name, but they were smiling, and all the comments were like, "He's so hot, like free him." I'm like, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
He's on film doing what happened. We're gonna what?
Yeah, it is. It's I think he has $1 million defense fund as well. I'm pretty sure.
I can't.
Julie, do you have any more questions for them? For Kerry?
For me, I just think it's so sad what has happened to you. And you guys are talking about, Massachusetts. And I don't think any state is ready for this, right? I think this is the first time we've seen a propaganda campaign through social media. And you're seeing what always existed in every town, which is the rumor mill. And it's been magnified by social media.
I don't know.
There were content creators that were so happy to take these local people that were just spreading rumors and magnify them. And it's really scary to me what's happened here is really, really scary. And I think if these people had this happen to them, if the tables were turned, they'd feel much differently. And that's just my opinion. And I'm really sorry it happened to you. I'm truly sorry.
I am too.
It is crazy, right, Julie? How like all the
Am I
things we're
frozen?
seeing, like, yeah, I think she's a little behind. She'll hear me in a minute though. How we're learning, you know, all these rumors.
I'm a little
came
behind.
just from like a Canton mother, or, you know, some guy just telling some other guy that this happened, and then the defense team was just like, let's go with this. You know, Tim Albert buried the dog in his pool. Like, it's crazy.
Yep.
How
Yeah.
they took these stories just from literally like some chick in Canton and just went with it. It's wild.
I will say, before
Well,
I learned about this case here, you know, I followed a podcaster for many years, and I always kind of ended up turning his podcast off because after a while it was like I didn't agree really. He would cover cases that were already closed, but he was a big advocate for wrongful convictions, and he would always say like, oh, I picked a case, I haven't really examined it, let's investigate together, to all his listeners. And he always came to the conclusion at the end that they were wrongfully convicted, which just seems kind of weird, right? How convenient. But one of the seasons, I ended up getting the case file, and I was with a group of people, and we had this case file that he had access to. No one else. Like, it was a very hard case file to have. And we were going through it, and he was not reporting the evidence entirely. He was curating his narrative to his viewers. I mean, it was maddening, you guys. Wow. And we tried to speak up, and it was all at the expense of the victim's family.
Wow.
And yeah, and law enforcement, and, you know, all these other people. And it's just, it makes me so, I would say, scared and mad. I have a lot of emotions over content creators right now, and kind of this loose guideline of how certain personalities will tell stories, and how much impact those stories can have on the public when they're not being told in its entirety, or the research is not being done, you know, in its entirety. And it's there to sensationalize someone's trauma. And you know, it's a playground for them to kind of play around on. And it's just, it makes me sad and nervous about what to expect down the road, you know, with social media.
Yeah, for sure.
I did receive questions from people to ask.
You know, these...
Poor Julie.
Poor Julie's like 10 seconds behind. I'm
breathing,
sorry,
so
Julie.
You're fine.
We did receive questions.
No, go ahead. Go with the questions.
Okay. So I had received a bunch of questions from people, and those were, for the most part, aligned in all the questions we touched on tonight. I think I got to them all. I did want to mention, and maybe we'll do this as a closing question for tonight. But I came across a tweet from one of the bigger prominent supporters of Karen Read, or the Free Karen Read movement, that featured your photo, Kerry, and it had a caption on it, and it said, "How does Kerry Roberts sleep at night?" I want to know your thoughts, your answer to that.
Well, I know the truth. I know what happened. I know that I will see John again. And I know that Karen won't. That's how I sleep at night.
That's a great answer.
That's the truth.
It's a great answer. Yep. Sure is.
Karma
I am so,
will always come and get you. And I'm just
Yeah.
waiting.
It does always find
yeah.
you.
Well, I am so grateful. I am so, so grateful that you took the time to come and talk to us. I mean, I have so much respect for you. Just knowing what you did that morning, getting called at the crack of dawn to go out into a blizzard and search for your friend, and the performing of CPR and helping his family, and I mean all the things. You are the friend I would want in a situation like that, and I want you to know that. I know the noise is loud of all the Karen supporters and all the nonsense, but it's important that we hear it from others. And I want you to know that you are an amazing person, and I admire you so much, Kerry.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tuesday, I know Ginny and Lydia just want to say bye to Kerry.
Oh, let's bring them in real quickly. All right, we got the Lydia, and we got our Ginny Jams. Ah,
You're muted, Lydia.
muted.
This is a low budget production. Sorry, everyone. If you give me $5, I will unmute myself. Okay. I wanted to say two things. One is, unfortunately, this is not the only case where this kind of insanity has happened. I followed Delphi for almost 8 years, and they accused the victims' teenage sisters, all 4 of their parents, their grandparents, everyone, of murdering these young girls, when in fact a sexually deviant little man murdered them. And so it's endemic in true crime, and we have to do something about it. That's why it's really important that people come together and kind of speak these truths and fight back against the nut jobs that are out there adopting every conspiracy that exists. So you're not alone, but also that sucks. And I hate it, and we have to fight it. Number 2, I don't live where there are blizzards anymore. I used to, but I also have blankets in my car because I'm the kind of person who runs onto the interstate to rescue a puppy. So I always have blankets. So I don't want anybody to think having blankets in your car is weird.
I thought that was bizarre when people were like, why does she have
So
blankets in her
weird.
car?
Who doesn't have blankets or towels in their car?
I do too. Yeah.
I
The
don't. But
entire back of my SUV is like water, blankets, towels. What's wrong?
I have a
with
blanket for
people?
the movies.
I have a very large blanket that Jen and I found out the hard way when we were at a soccer game. We were way up in the top of the stands, and I was like, don't worry, I'll bring a blanket. It was literally like, it may as well have been mesh. It was the, it was too much. I was like, no, but I still have it in the back of the car because what else am I going to do with it?
Jenny. Yeah.
well, I do not have blankets in the back of my car.
I'm going to buy you all blankets. You don't want
I
them.
have one in my trunk.
Sorry, but I don't judge anyone that does. It's actually a great idea. But I
She
live
lives in a
Florida.
sunny land.
Yeah, I live in Florida. We don't really even hardly own sweaters. So, but I just wanted to say thanks for coming. I was backstage, of course, but smiling so much, listening and to your stories of John and seeing the pictures of John. Like, it's just so nice and refreshing to have somebody tell stories about him, because I mean, we said it before when the show was starting, like he just has been lost. So it's really nice to see him be brought back to life by somebody who loves him. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, girls. I appreciate it. John
It was fun.
John was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice to officially meet you, and I hope sometime we can do this again in the future. Not necessarily online, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Be able to give each other a hug.
Florida, anytime in the winter.
You are welcome. You're welcome. You don't.
We're going to Ginny's house. Yeah.
Next time is offline.
Yay.
You guys are welcome.
I do need to point out that I know people are going to go, she's wearing a Boston Police sweatshirt. This is the sweatshirt that when John first passed, we had made, and his number, his badge number. I got called out for wearing it into court one day. Mind you, there was like 35 of us that had it on, but I was the one that got called out. This is the original sweatshirt that we all had made and we wore in support of the O'Keefes.
I love it.
That is so sweet. Yeah, I love that so much.
My daughter wears it to soccer.
Big
zero.
hugs, Kerry.
She gives 0 F's. She's like, yeah, wearing my JJ shirt. I'm like, okay. If anyone asks me what are you to say, she's like, Canton. Hey, good luck.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Kerry.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you. I
talk
won't
to
see
you
you,
guys.
but I hope you all have happy holidays and a happy new year.
You too.
Yes,
too.
me
Merry
too.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Merry
guys.
Thank
Christmas,
you.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Good night.
Bye.
How do you prove a conspiracy? You need to see people's phones. We live in the 21st century. That's how conspiracies are conducted. You have any clue what's on my phones that they took?
Everybody knows a message with Kerry on Signal, right? And ours auto delete after 4 hours, right? She set it up that way. I didn't set it up.
How do you prove a conspiracy? You need to see people's phones. We live in the 21st century.
Do you feel like you're an advocate for the defense?
No, sir. That is my best guess. I don't recall from a year ago.
When I asked you to guess, I'm asking for your testimony. Did you ever delete texts?
From last year?
Yes.
Yes.
That's how conspiracies are conducted.
Do you feel like you're an advocate for the defense?
No, sir. That is my best guess. I don't recall from a year ago.
When I asked you to guess, I'm asking for your testimony. Did you ever delete texts?
From last year?
Yes.
Yes.
We are trying to affect the jury pool. We are. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm.
Everybody knows a message with Kerry on Signal, right? And ours auto delete after 4 hours, right? She set it up that way. I didn't set it up.